Greetings everyone, since you're just turned on this video, then in all likely that you're embarking your journey into the world of cryptocurrencies. And this video we made specifically for you. Here we will not delve into any of the wilds of the blockchain, as well as in highly specialized topics. Today will be the base, such as, so after watching this video you can start mining right away. We will sort out what you can mine and how to choose the needed equipment, existing types of mining, the peculiarities of placing the miners themselves, how to calculate their profits, as well as how to maintain them. Let's get started. First, what is mining itself? In simple terms, it's when your equipment performs complex mathematical operations, and you as the owner of this equipment receive their dividends, or if saying simply, the reward in the form of cryptocurrency. First of all, before you start mining, you'll need to choose the kind of coin that you will mine. It can be Bitcoin, or it can be Monero, Kaspa, or any of the dozens of other options. Your choice will depend on the price of the coin itself and on its prospects as well. Bitcoin is the most major cryptocurrency. Despite the fact that its rate can also sag, it always takes new peaks. On the other hand, any alternative crypto can fall down and never recover. The alternative crypto in common parlance is called altcoin. Bitcoin is a stable but slow growth. Altcoins in turn pose a greater risk but also the high growth potential in the long run. We always advise beginners to mine Bitcoin, but if you are a crypto enthusiast with experience or you already have a lot of Bitcoin machines, you can also mine altcoins. Let's suppose that you've already decided on the crypto to mine, but how to choose the equipment. Currently, there are only 3 types of mining equipment exist. The first one is PC processors, the second are graphics cards, and the third are ASIC miners. About the first option, I would like to make a note and say that mining on your personal computer is no longer relevant because the processing power of your CPU in any way cannot compete with the power of graphics cards or ASICs. As for mining on graphics cards, here you can freely get any cryptocurrency available for mining. But there is one nuance. For example, there is a coin named Kaspa. It appeared relatively recently and now shows a crazy growth dynamics. But as soon as Kaspa became famous and rose to the same level as other big projects and coins, manufacturers immediately paid attention to it and released an ASIC for Kaspa. And immediately at this point, mining Kaspa on graphics cards lost its relevance because independently graphics card cannot compete with the power of an ASIC. The ASIC miner is the most powerful crypto mining device invented to this date. On graphics cards you can mine little-known altcoins for which there are no ASICs yet. And, as I said earlier, these are big risks, but if you soberly assess them, you can try. But speaking of the most relevant and most powerful equipment on this planet today, without the doubt is ASIC miners. Unfortunately, as before, one nuance has crept in. Each coin has its own algorithm on which it works. For example, Bitcoin has an algorithm called SHA-256. Dogecoin and Litecoin have an algorithm called Script, and Kaspa's algorithm, which I mentioned earlier, is called K-heavy hash. It is also worth noting that several coins can work on same algorithm. The ASIC miner cannot change its algorithm, unlike a graphics card. For example, if you bought an ASIC for Bitcoin on the SHA-256 algorithm, you won't be able to mine any other coins that don't use this algorithm. That means in fact that you are limited to mine only Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. They are both on SHA-256. But don't worry, for a long time there have been ASIC miners for all the main coins on the market already. Let's repeat just in case that buying ASIC miner on a certain algorithm, you will be able to mine coins only from the same algorithm. Therefore, choose carefully. In addition to the algorithm, the ASIC also has 2 other important features that you should consider before purchasing it. The power consumption. This is the amount of kilowatts your ASIC will consume per hour while working. This is the most significant indicator for a miner because electricity is the only source of consumption that you will have to spend on. And the second indicator is, of course, the power of the miner itself, or otherwise it's called hash rate. The higher your hash rate is, the more coins you will mine. Note that it doesn't matter how much you mine in terms of dollars, but the number of coins you mine. Because the rate of cryptocurrencies fluctuates in different directions, and the number of coins that you can sell today for $30,000 may cost 60 in a few months. And one more important note, in mining there is such a concept called network complexity. Network complexity is the total number of miners around the whole world. That is, the more miners, the higher the network complexity. The higher the complexity, the less coins you mine. It is due to the increased complexity of network and the popularity of cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin years ago. The ASICs that were popular and provided a lot of profit then, 5 or 6 years ago, are now irrelevant because their hash rate is now considered low. So, if you plan to dive into mining for a long time, you need to buy a new and more powerful machines. How much does they cost on average? That varies. It depends on the algorithm as well as its power. You can find out the actual prices in our Telegram channel. The link will be in the description of the video. So, with the equipment sorted out, let's talk about what types of mining exist. There are 3 types: solo mining, pool mining, and cloud mining. Solo mining is when you're all alone against the world. The probability of mining a Bitcoin in this case is approximately 1 in 6 billion. That's, as you can imagine, a very low probability. However, there have been cases in history where solo miners have actually found these Bitcoins on their own. The main advantage of this method is the colossal reward that you receive. You will take and keep all the mined Bitcoins for yourself without sharing them with anyone else. The second option, the most popular by now, is pool mining. Pool mining is when you join forces with other users and do the same tasks together, so your chances of mining Bitcoins are greatly increased, but you also must share the profits with other participants. Conditionally speaking, if you keep only about 30% of the power in the pool, then you receive the accordingly 30% reward. If you keep 50, you get half, and so on. So how do you choose a pool? To do this, you need to consider a number of factors, including the terms and conditions, the withdrawal terms, the commissions, and the popularity of the pool as such. You can read this on your own, but I recommend subscribing to our channel. We will do reviews on different pools, so it will be easier to orient yourself. And the third and final type is cloud mining. It is the least popular, but also considered the most dangerous. The essence of this method is that here you do not buy an entire machine, but rent capacity instead. So conditionally, you can rent 1/3 of a miner, and then wait for your reward. The danger of this method is that if anything goes wrong, you won't have neither equipment nor money in your hands. We strongly do not recommend this type of mining. So you've decided on the type of mining, you've chose the needed equipment, and now you're left to think about where you will place it. If you are going to put the miner at home, you need to consider the number of spare kilowatts that are connected to your apartment. This figure can vary depending on the state and type of house you are, but it's likely that your electrical appliances account for around half of it. That means that you probably cannot place more than 2 ASICs in your apartment, as they consume between 2 and 7 kilowatts per hour. There are also an unpleasant features that they make noise and emit heat. To solve the issue of heat or noise, you can use a special device that is called an anti-noise box. It suppresses sound and dissipates heat. Or you can convert your miner to water cooling. This will solve the noise issue, and it's also much easier to cool water than it is to cool air. Plus, there are now systems exist that allow you to connect your miner to radiant floor heat, pool heat, or any other water heating. This is for those who want to get the most out of mining. Also, you will need an internet in order to run the miner, not anything ultra fast. 10 megabits is more than enough. The most important requirement for the internet is stability, not speed, because your device is constantly performing math tasks, and if it falls off the internet, it would greatly reduce your profit. If your plan is to host more than 2 miners, then mining hotels are a good choice for this task. Mining hotels are organizations that are designed to accommodate other people's miners. Specialists in these hotels take care of your ASIC and monitor its smooth operation, and payment there is mostly considered for each kilowatt consumed by your miner. And be aware of very important information. Never send your equipment to recently opened hotels or those with suspiciously low prices. In our experience, there was many people who sent their equipment to such suspicious hotels, got rewarded for a month or 2, and then never seen their equipment again. And now, a little information about the maintenance of the miner if you decided to place it at home. An ASIC is an unpretentious machine that is designed to work 24 hours a day. In fact, you need to turn it off only once every 3 months, let it cool down a bit, and blow out all of the dust. Then about once in a year, you should preferably change the thermal paste on the chips. All this is done for one reason, to ensure that your ASIC does not overheat or lose performance. If blowing off the dust is not a tricky business and does not require special skills, the change of the thermal paste I sincerely do not recommend to do by yourself, as it costs not too much and you can have it done in a specialized service center. Take it very seriously, because many service centers have already seen a lot of devices that have been burned and cannot be restored. Finally, how to calculate how much your miner earns. There are two ways, complicated or simple. The complicated way requires you to calculate everything manually. You will need to consider the exchange rate, the complexity of your network, the fees of your pool, and many other factors that need to be added and multiplied. Or my personal way, lazy and simple, is to go on a specialized site that is a calculator for mining, choose a machine, and see in real time how much it brings. For example, we always recommend the WaterMine site as one of the most accurate calculators. So, to summarize, in order to mine, you will need internet, electricity, the ASIC miner itself, and a connection to the pool. You don't need to constantly monitor your miner, but you should check its performance indicators on the mining pool or use a dedicated monitoring program. That's all for today. We have discussed complex things in a very simple terms. If you have any questions, please write them in the comments. We will try to answer them all. With you was Vladimir, the company MinerWorld. See you soon.